Mental health awareness has changed a lot over the last century, as has mental health care for college students. In 1910, Stuart Patton, MD, first dedicated mental health services at Princeton for students with personality development problems. At this time, many qualified students were leaving school because of emotional issues, and it really wasn't explored any further than that. The idea of helping students with mental issues didn't really start because universities were interested in helping students. It started as a means for retention, which was a means for money. Physical health was prioritized over mental health, and those facilities were created first due to the lack of mental health professionals available. In 1920, the American Student Health Association met for the first time. This was a precursor to the American College Health Association we know today. At this, Frank Wood Williams, a doctor at the time, realized that mental health, or mental hygiene, was important. 11 years later, these doctors got around to holding a conference and would continue on doing so for years without many deliverables as results. These did, however, set the standards for college mental health and mental hygiene services. Not much change in the beginning, but by 1954, there were calls for stronger ties between mental health services and campus counseling. Throughout the 60s and 70s, political opposition and activism chipped away at trust between students and health services, but the AHCA put more standards and practices into place. Since the 90s, there have been shifts seen in what students need, and it is ever changing. According to a Harvard Forum, a serious gap still exists in the campus services and the needs of students. In 2019, the Virginia Tech Mental Health Task Force reported that the causes of increased demand of mental health services on campus could be due to changes in campus population, higher incidence of disorders among entering students, and/or increased isolation of students, resulting in increased use of electronic communications. In order to regulate mental health systems, in 2016, Virginia lawmakers passed legislation stating necessary resources college campuses must have in order to properly handle mental health for students. This law lays out three main needs: policies, a detailed memorandum, and info on the institution's website. More on this law can be found at vacode.org. Dr. Emily Laddie of Northwestern University has researched mental health services in colleges, and she has some things to say about the topic and what has been going on over the last year.
I think college is a, particularly interesting and vulnerable time given the pandemic, because college is often a time when folks are really starting to branch out on their own more. Peers have a much larger influence on well-being and mental health. And because of social distancing guidelines and quarantines and people being um, largely indoors, a lot of things have been disrupted. And so um, I've been seeing in the work that I do that stress levels have definitely been higher, levels of loneliness have been higher, and rates of common mental health problems like depression and anxiety appear to be higher.
Mental health awareness in schools began as a means for retention of students, and now buildings, budgets, and bills are all a part of this system. This year, we've seen even bigger changes over a small time period, and most likely will continue to for years to come. Are students getting enough support? And if not, what can be done to change the patterns? For help here at Virginia Tech, call Cook Counseling at 540-231-6557. I'm Bailey Wyatt for DNR News.